Hi, it's Lisa Cuneo, and welcome to my scrapbook table. I've created another wedding layout from the reception, and I am using a premium sketch from Scrap-A-Sketch. It's sketch number 74 from August of 2024, and I will have a link to Scrap-A-Sketch in the description box below. So I have these photos of Kayla dancing with both her dad and then Brian, and I'm using some pre-printed paper from 49 and Market. I have some rub-ons. I have this scrap of pretty paper from a Stampin' Up! Specialty pack, and I want to see if the rub-ons will stick to it. And so I just cut off this butterfly to try it. There's not going to be butterflies on the layout. I'm going to use flowers, but this will be hidden by the photos. And at first I thought it wasn't going to work, but then look at that. It did. It took a little extra time to get the rub-ons to stick to that different texture of paper, but they did work, and I was really happy about that. I thought I was going to use some frames. The sketch does call for frames behind the photos, but I ended up not doing that. Scrap-A-Sketch is Lisa Sikorsky's Facebook group and a website. She has lots of free sketches, but she also has some paid content, and those are her premium sketches, which is a very reasonable price for your monthly subscription. And I find her sketches really easy to use, easy to adapt. And I certainly did adapt this one. It's not just like her sketch, but it gave me a starting point, which for me, that's what sketches are all about. So I cut out some flowers and leafy bits, and originally I wanted this more floral, but it actually ends up having more greenery and leaves than flowers. So that's just how that turned out. The little bit of what looks like stamping on there is just pre-printed on the paper. Now I cut out Moments to Cherish, and I was going to just ink it up, which I actually thought I cut this out of the video. I have a few different grays there. The one looks gray on the package, but not at all on my board. So I did ink them, but it didn't work. It made them too flimsy. So you'll see later that I just recut these out of some dark gray cardstock, layered a few layers of cardstock up to give them some bulk, and that is what actually ends up being on the page as the title. So while this was a good idea in theory, it did not turn out well in reality, which is how things go sometimes. And I'm really surprised that all of this footage is in here, because I was sure I cropped this out. But that's okay. You'll see in a moment that I did set this aside to dry overnight, and it was dry by the next morning, but it was still just too flimsy to work with, and I couldn't get it where I wanted it. So I end up tossing those and going with another printed one. And in a little while I will show you the die set from Echo Park that I cut those from. I chose to do black and white photos for this because I just thought it gave it such a classic look. And then when I went through the papers, I didn't want to use all neutral tones, because then the photos and the papers would have been all neutrals. And I found this pink, and I knew I had just gotten these pink rub-ons that are new to me. So that's what I ended up doing. And I like that the paper has some gray in it. It looks like gray script is stamped on there, but the stamping's already done for you, which is kind of nice. So it looks mixed media-ish when it is not mixed media. And I fiddled for a while with which photo to put where, but you can see what I opted to do there. And as I said, the rub-ons where they overlap that specialty paper, they do take a little bit of extra time and attention. But if you're just careful and peel it up slowly and put it back down and re-rub it when you need to, it works out pretty well. I love the photo of Kayla and her dad, and that Brian is in the background, and the picture in real life the part with Brian in it is really clear, and the part with Kayla and her dad is a bit blurred, which is kind of the opposite of what's usual. But I just love the photo, and what a blessed young woman to have had a great dad who loves her, and now my son who loves and adores her. So I like that these photos together tell quite a story. I do a little bit of journaling about that on here. Not a ton, but just a little bit, because to me those photos are a great story together. It's coming up on their first anniversary. I can hardly believe it. They're going away soon for a little anniversary getaway, and I'm excited for them. So you can see that I did add a little bit of decoration up there in the top right. I don't think that was in the sketch. I'm not sure. So here I have cut out Moments to Cherish again, and that's what's going to be my title. I asked on a Facebook group for some title suggestions, and I got tons of great ones. It was hard for me to pick, really hard for me to pick. So then I showed you my little tray that I keep leafy things in, and I found these that I had cut for another project out of some mixed media paper that I had done. These were just like leftovers, and they were almost the right green, but not quite. So I just dipped them into some peeled paint oxide, and that made them just right. And now I'm going to do, well, I'm not sure what that was for. Oh, yes I am. That is some dimensional adhesive, and I'm cutting little teeny thin strips of it so that I can add some behind the leaves of a few of these leafy branches. I didn't do them all because, frankly, it was a pain because they were such tiny little pieces. And I do apologize that that's mostly off screen. I didn't realize that. And so here we go. I have some of that on there. And I am just tucking these around the circle. So now I am adding some Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to the word Moments. That's going to go over one picture. The word Cherish is going to go over the other. And then the word To will nestle in between those. And I am so happy with how this turned out. I like the dark cardstock against the bright, cheerful background. And you can see the die set there to the right that I used. And the word To is not in the die set, but I just cut out part of the word Together and trimmed off where the G began, and that's what I used. I pulled some little ephemera pieces from another 49 in Market kit that I have. I don't even remember the name of it. I'm sorry. And I'm not at home. I'm actually in Alabama when I'm doing this voiceover, so I can't go look at the envelope to see what that was. And I have this black camera, or dark gray, and I pull it to the bottom, and I think that's just one of the perfect finishing touches here because it helps balance out the dark cardstock that is in the title. And then you'll see that I'm going to do, oh, there's the die set. I do show you. I bought that on clearance during one of their big sales that Echo Park has. And I like those 5 words. I've used them a lot, and I've created some different words from them, so that's been very handy. I'm looking through my pens because I can find my 0.8 and my 0.1 black pen, but I can't find my 0.5. So I'm going to put one of those in my Amazon cart as soon as I finish this voiceover, because that's the one I use the most, and I want to replace that if it's lost. So I was thinking here about what I was going to write, where I was going to fit it. I ended up using my T-square ruler to help me make some lines, and in the meantime, while I was mulling that over, I found this little piece that says on your special day or something like that, and I just tucked it under there, and it just says special day. So here's my T-square ruler. I draw some lines that I do my journaling on. I don't often do that, but once in a while I like the touch that the black lines add to my layout. And I already told you what the layout, what the journaling was in the story, so that's what's on there. And there you see it. There's some still shots coming up. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. I'm so grateful that you were here with me today. Here's some still shots. And again, I'll have a link to Scrap-A-Sketch in the description box below. I hope you get to craft something soon and that you have a great day. Thanks for joining me. Goodbye.